Okay, so we're going to draw what I call the H block, which is from this sheet. So let's just zoom in quick. So this is what we're going to be drawing today. As you can see, it's a block that is 8 across and 5 tall, and we're going to lay it out and draw it together. So this is the H block. So to start, we are going to lay it out. Now there's kind of two ways to go about this. We can make a cross in the middle, an X in the middle, to find the center, and then measure out from the center. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a light construction line mark right here, super light to find the center. And then from the center I can get my measurements. So since I know that my measurements for this object are 8, I can measure over to get my first measurement from that center point I just found and make a mark right here, 4 over, and then I can go from there. And I'm going to do my vertical lines first. So looking at my vertical lines for this, I'm going to make a mark at my first mark, so that's 4 inches over. Make my first mark, and then I'm going to make a mark 2 inches over from that, and then a mark 6 inches, and a mark at the full 8. So I've got here, so from the center I got 4 inches, and then from that first mark it's 2, 6, and 8. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to make my construction lines at 2, 6, and 8. Now, the construction lines are difficult to see. So all my construction lines are going to be, you know what? We'll just do the regular construction lines and see how it comes out on the video. So I'm going to just come in and do my construction lines. Remember, construction lines are super light. I'm just going to come in, make them a little darker than I typically would to try to get them on the video. Got a smudge here, so I'm going to double check which one is which. It's this one. So 2. So I'm getting all of my vertical lines in as construction lines. I believe they're coming up enough. So I'm putting all my construction lines in first. So there's all my vertical construction lines, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to put my ruler on here, and I know my lines that are going horizontally are 5 apart. So the middle of 5 is 2.5, so I'm going to put the 2.5 in the center spot and make a mark here. And then from that mark that's 2.5 inches away from the center, that's my 0, and I'm going to go up 1, and I got to go 3. So 1, 2, 3 is 4 right there, and then 5. So my 4 marks are, I put the ruler with the center on the 2.5 line, and I make a mark at 0, 1, 4, and 5. So 0, 1, 4, and 5. And all I'm going to do from here is I'm going to go in and I'm going to add my construction lines nice and light. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 8 lines in total. What I would typically do here is I would erase. So if I'm doing this, for myself, I like to go in and erase all of the extra construction lines before I move on. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the object lines first. I like to, when I'm doing this myself, and there's really no correct order to do this, but I like to erase my construction lines before I put in my object lines, because it lets me know if I have made a mistake. I can always fix it by just going back in and creating a new construction line. But if I make a mistake at this part, like I kept going here, I pretty much got to start the drawing over if I want a nice product. So just going in quick. There's all my horizontals I'm keeping. Get my triangle on the T-square. Put down all my verticals. And this is where you got to get careful, which is why it's nice to erase ahead of time so you won't be tempted to just keep going here, which I've definitely done things like that in the past. So here we go. We've got our H block shape in there now. I'm going to add my guidelines really quickly. Remember, your guidelines are an 1/8 inch from the top and the bottom of the title block. And for this drawing, this is just called the H block. That's what we're going to call it, because it kind of looks like an H. Call it the H block. Put your name. The date. And your period. So this is period 0. And at that point, I won't bore you, but you would go in and you would clean up all of your construction lines, make them go away. And a pretty good indication is if you made construction lines that when you erase, they do go away, you've done a fine job. But if you go to erase them and they're still there, you did not do a good job. And you should do it again. So that's all we have for today. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions.